In the Austrian Tyrol lies the city of Innsbruck, twice a Winter Olympic venue. And outside the small town of Eagles is where they did their sliding. In 1964, it was a natural track. Since '76, it has been an artificial track. And that's the venue for the final World Cup race of the women's skeleton season. Hello everybody, welcome back to Innsbruck. Martin Haven and John Morgan ready for the final 19 sleds before the World Championships.
Pretty interesting first heat. We got a tie for second. Kimberly Boss, who's medaled twice on this track earlier this season. This young Dutch athlete getting much better starts this season and had a breakout year for getting on the podium, and she's in a position for another one today. And she's tied to the 100th of a second to Janine Flock, Austria, on the verge of winning another World Cup title. All she's got to do is finish in the top 10 and she'll walk away with that title. It looks to me like she's trying to win the gold here on her home track to put an exclamation point on a great season. Well, Elena Nikitina, well, she's got the start record. A Russian already won on this track earlier today. Her teammate, Alexander Trechikov, he also has the best start in the world. And she just gets out so far ahead of everybody at the top. If she doesn't make any mistakes down below, it's her race to lose.
Yeah, she's got all the speed, hasn't she, at the start, and she carries it well to the line. Janine Flock and Kimberly Boss tied nearly 4/10 back. But look at the battle for the medals. It's Flock, Boss, Margallo, Brogan Crowley, Kanakina, maybe Laura Dees, not too far away. Could be very entertaining in our second heat. 19 sleds completed the first run. They will go in reverse order of their first heat performance. So rookies, Jill Gander will be first away. And USA's Sarah Roderick fourth off. There's Nikitina chatting with her coach, just trying to figure out where she can find a bit more speed, because leading is one thing, but leading and improving is what it's all about. And for the silver medal, Janine Flock versus Kimberly Boss. Well, Janine has not been off the podium all year, and I'm not sure that that has been done before in a Women's Skeleton World Cup campaign. She is heading for her second Crystal Globe. Tina Hermann, though, struggling a bit for pace. She was chatting there with Dirk Matchens, the former German coach, who was her personal coach. He's now coaching the Russian team. And for Janine, well, what a place to end up. Her home track for the third time this year, and any kind of a finish pretty much will give her the Crystal Globe. So this is our start, George. Jill Gander from Switzerland, Dara Zunter of Latvia. Then Alessia Kripa, Sarah Roderick, the rookie from the USA, Suzanne Kreher, Elena Frolova, Kendall Wessenberg, and so on, down to our final sleds, where we get into maybe the top half dozen and start to think about the medals. And Nikitina is going to be very hard to beat here. She's going to have to throw this away. 19 sleds to complete the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup season. Jill Gander of Switzerland first away in the final run here in Innsbruck.
And Martin, if you remember the first heat, she came out of the drive lines. And to let everybody know, this is a 16-year-old athlete, the daughter of Billy Meyerhands. You turned me on to that, Martin, and yeah, 16 years old. Well, obviously, her mother didn't prevent her from coming out here at this age. And Martin, she was in the Junior Olympics last year in St. Moritz, right? Exactly so, yeah. So Youth Olympic Games were her first races. She's done Junior World Championships last year and this, last week in St. Moritz, and 2 Europa Cup races. So she's not been on this track before. Dad, Billy Meyerhands, a long-time Swiss bobsledder, may have been able to give her a bit of advice, but not sure if he's even allowed on the venue because of the COVID restrictions. So Jill Gander, first time on this track, 56.11. It's a little slower than her first heat, and consistency only comes with experience, John, and that's what she's trying to build right now at this early stage of her career. Yeah, probably the most successful Swiss skeleton athlete was Maya Pedersen. Second in the World Cup points in 5.6. Skid there, not bad, but Martin, can you tell this is a 16-year-old coming down the track?
Well, you can't really.
Wow,
she
I think
could
that's
be 46 and still a rookie, and yeah, that's a nice-looking slide.
You know, great lines, great line right here. If you look at the track glisten, you won't see the track glistening like that 20 sleds from now, or 18 sleds from now.
Maybe not, maybe not. So there is Jill Gander, first year of real sliding and first year on the first race in the World Cup. Data Zunter started in the World Championships in Altenburg last year before she'd even had her World Cup debut. So Data Zunter in her second World Cup race. In fact, she made her debut in the World Championships and then raced to 20th place in her only previous World Cup start.
5:50 in the first run, 5:51 this run. 12th best start, which is pretty good. Anytime you're in the middle of the pack, you have a chance. Speed in the left. Keep your eyes on the speed in the left. That has so much to do with the start time's one thing. Transferring it to the best speed in the first clock is super important. On this short 1,250-meter track, there's the Kreisel, big 290-degree change of direction. Martin, the Kreisel we see there, there'll be a Kreisel in Beijing at next year's Olympics. It'll be the first Kreisel since the Calgary Olympic Games in 1988.
That's quite some time since somebody's built a track with one of those crazy Kreisels. Data Zunter leads by 1.2 seconds, 55.37 compared to 54.99. So she's not gone, Alessia Kripper, I beg your pardon, Data Zunter, she's not gone too far away from where she was in the first heat.
500's
so
difference.
Yeah, 500's quicker.
Pretty good lines. Can't fault much here, Martin. I mean, this exit of 9, little late here, though. Skidding, you can see that, pretty obvious.
Great view of the runners as well, shows that they're not flat all the way along. They have a tiny little contact patch like a rocking chair. And she moves into our leaders box. Plenty of talent to draw on, of course, in the Latvian team, even if it's not all here. Next up, 20-year-old Italian Alessia Kripper. Her only World Cups on this track were in December. She finished in 14th and 13th place. She was in the Junior Worlds last week, finished in 7th spot. So the final race in December, her best World Cup result to date.
Hey, I'm impressed with these two young Italians. Kripper here, I'm not impressed with she's in 17th place. I'm impressed that she's 20 years old and she had the 6th best start. If you do the math, 4 years from now, Martin, into Milan Cortina Olympic Games, she could be poised to be a challenger. Her teammate, Margolio, she's got the 2nd best start in the competition and she's up in 4th place. Yep. So the Italians showing they're starting to build as they go towards a home Olympics just 4 years from now.
Well, they've got youth and speed on their side. Now you need the technology to follow along and great coaching to bring the best out of them. Kripper with the lead and the best speed, John.
Well, she didn't have that great of first run, Martin. But you know, when you got a 6th best start time and you're back here in 17th place, 54.95, only 400's better. But again, she's 20 years old. She's got a top start.
Well, she's got a total of 8 World Cup races in her career. Janine Flock's done more on this track alone than she's done everywhere else. So, you know, she's up against some very experienced sliders.
Little drift there, up 2 and 3. This is the slingshot effect that you want to come out of this Kreisel with. And you want to be down the middle left of the straightaway. She's leaning, look her feet. See, she's trying to lean. Probably got into that take on a little bit, few inches down from perfect. This is down in the 3-corner combination. The Labyrinth's high-speed part of the track.
Well, she moves into the leader's box with 16 sleds to go. And next up, our World Cup rookie from the USA, Sarah Roderick. So for the 2nd week in a row, a brand new American slider. Last week, Kelly Curtis. This week, Sarah Roderick.
Truro, Massachusetts, UVM, University of Vermont athlete, only 2 hours from Lake Placid. She was impressive in the first round with the 6th best start, Martin. And, you know, again, on this track, if you have, it's so difficult to compete. Well, she just looped that curve twice. But, you know, you got a start time, you got a chance. You can make a few mistakes, but you got to start.
It's not a track you wrestle. This is all about finesse and millimeter precision. And do you get that in 6 training runs? No, you don't. You need experience. And that's what is taking the speed out of her at the moment. She's got a great start. She can clearly drive. She can win on tracks she knows. Now she needs to know more tracks that she races on. Late.
Really late there. Almost off the sled. She's letting it go. It's probably the fastest she's ever been down the track. 54.9. No, it's not. 54.91. But she would have been faster, Martin. That sled got away from her down there in the labyrinths, and I'm sure she'll be the first to tell you that. It's a great run. I mean, her first World Cup, right?
Yep, first World Cup. I think her heart rate will be somewhere up about 180, 185 right now after those last 3 corners. Mind you, know, when you've raced down the bottom of Whistler and Lake Placid, you know what fast feels like.
But, I mean, this is the exit, the slingshot effect. She's got her feet apart a little bit, like you'll see Katie Eulander. Doesn't have that perfect bullet for her, but that's the way she slides. Here, it's late. She's up near the woodwork. You can see the sled flop. And then same thing, she's late from one of the labyrinth to the second labyrinth and into the third labyrinth. She lost some time down there, Martin, but she's the leader.
Hi everybody, thank you. Thanks for watching.
Well, there's some great footage to show the family back home of her inverted in Austria. Sarah Roderick leads, 15 sleds to go. Germany's Susanne Kreher, 22 years old, from Altenburg, where we head to next week. 2nd ever World Cup start for her. 15th place after first heat, running to get away from the yelling of multiple race winner on this track, Anja Huber, her coach.
Former world champion, at least in 2008. Probably, I think that was her first and only Worlds, but this young German didn't get great starts, but the Germans, the top German, Jacqueline Lohling, is not here. She's over in Altenburg training for next week, but you know, the Germans are probably 10 deep, Martin. You know it, and I know it. Look at the feet, look at the form. She's only got 200s in the bank right now, but she brought it out to 5. Good technique, perfect lines, best speed. She'll be rewarded down here if she's got perfect lines, Martin. Pulling away now. This is a better run than she had in the first heat.
Yep.
54, yeah, 2,700's better. Much better run. She went late in the run too, Martin. Remember?
Yeah, she did.
She went 18th in the first run. Ice to work with. She got better ice to work with here.
Silver medalist in last week's Junior World Championships behind teammate Hannah Neiser.
And there's only about 800 separating her in the next 4 sleds. She's got a chance to move up 3 or 4 sleds here, Martin. Look at the lines. Now watch her where her head. She looks, confidence where she's going. No toes, everything perfectly in a great profile. And as we noticed, Martin, the track's very bouncy, you know, in that section there. But Martin, very impressive lines.
So Susanne Kreher leads, and as you say, she was in 15th place after the first heat. 1,400s ahead of her is the top 10. So there is plenty of potential for change. There's potential here from Elena Frolova as well. Another 5.40 starter, top 6 start. Ended up in 14th after a bit of a loose first heat.
Yeah, there was 3 athletes tied for to start 5.4 all. There she is again, consistency. Second best start. Let's see what velocity she could generate here on the left side of your screen. 3rd best velocity. So her maneuvering of around the first 2 curves might have cost her a little bit. 800s now, though, up. That's relative to the better start time that she had. She had a 600s better start time than Kreher from Germany. Ooh, a little correction there on the exit. That cost her, Martin. Look at the 600s. She did not exit the Kreisel properly. Now she's in red numbers.
She's skidding everywhere, isn't she? You can hear the toes dragging all the way down. She's not got...
No, she's...
too tough to control. Yeah.
So she's 100th from her first heat time. The German Kreher, she went 2,700ths better, so that's the difference. That's why I said she could move up 3-4 sleds.
Yeah, definitely. Elena Frolova still on the learning curve. It's only her 7th World Cup race.
How old is she, Martin?
Frolova is 24.
Yeah. Start. Yeah. Look at the toes out. This is down at 9. This wasn't as bad as what happened to her on the exit of Kreisel. But she corrected by the time she got here. Too high, I think, in 10. See, she's above those lines, then dives out below the line. What happens here? Does she cross over? Yeah, she put her toe out. Wasn't happy with that exit.
So it is still Susanne Kreher of Germany who leads. Next up, USA's Kendall Wessenberg, second of our US athletes. 200s, her advantage. We had 3 sleds covered by 200s. Wessenberg through Frolova to Kreher. So this is effectively a dead heat. Fastest second run gains the advantage.
Go.
14th in this event last year. Kendall, University of Colorado. 560. So compared to the leader, she's 1,400ths down to Kreher right now. And this deficit's going to grow at least to the next clock to 19. That's not bad. That means she might have stopped the bleeding, and now she has a chance to get into that lead deficit. Down to 15. Here she comes. She can slide. She gets great. She gets good speed points. Down to 10.
Tapping a skid, pretty wild, but there. Still fast.
Second speed. 16. Now she lost it on the exit of 9, Martin. Now the question is, she's going to fall back at least 1, maybe 2. 2. 300ths behind Frolova. You know, when you have the start time, I mean, Kendall drives well. When you got that start time, you got to be perfect. And she wasn't perfect there on the exit of 9.
She needs ice.
Lost it at a 9. You heard her just say it.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't make these mistakes when you have the deficient start. You know, she makes the mistake here. She didn't make this mistake here. She might have been in the lead. Look at this is into Kreisel into 8, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
But 8 sets you up for 9. She comes in here a little late. Look how late she is. Crosses over left to right, skidding, hits the wall. She knew it, just like we did. This is down below. Ooh, a little late there, but that's not as costly at that speed right there.
No, more scary maybe. Kendall Wessenberg slips a couple of spots. Susanne Kreher leads from Elena Frolova as we get to Ashley Pittaway, Junior World Championship bronze medalist last week and the Youth Olympic champion in 2016.
Her same problem is a start deficiency. She's got 553, 700s down to Kreher, who's I said was going to move up 3-4 spots. She's done that, Mark. And now she's ready to pick off somebody else, too, because of the start advantage she's got. It's only 300s now. Pittaway, one of the taller athletes in the competition, heavier. So she's got a little gravity advantage. Down to 1. Perfect form. Look at the feet. She might have come out of there too early. Now she's in the green. So this shows you what a glider can do, Martin, on this track. You make perfect lines, you get rewarded. But she's 300s.
Going to be very close. Going to be very close at the line. 400s in front. Wow.
Good run.
Tiny margins.
Good run for Ashley. 1,500s better than her first heat. Look at her.
Yeah,
this is the only track where you do this. You crawl out of your finish. Like, Ashley, we understand. It's not the most fun way to stop the sled.
No, not at all.
Good entry. Look at the hips onto the sled like that, and you know, you jump on with a cat-like movement. I like to use that expression more often than not. Look at the form. Look at the feet. Hardly any rudder out. A little bit there on the exit. She taps a little bit here. That's a little mistake coming out too close to that wall.
Yeah.
But she's the leader.
Everything's about timing in sport, isn't it? And this is no different. We'll talk about timing. This is a long-time US slider. She's tried other sports, Olympic weightlifting, track cycling, but keeps coming back to skeleton. This is World Cup start number 90 for Katie Uhlaender today. An astonishing record of longevity and success right from her early days. She was a winner here, a medal winner here back in 2007. 14 years later, she is still sliding competitively.
500 slower start than her first run, which is a little suspect, but I mean, she's a glider. Wasn't very happy with her first run. And, you know, Martin, she's only 10 hundredths out of the top 10, which I'm sure she's looking at, you know, she has a chance to achieve that. Down to 7.
Her last World Cup
perfect.
season was before Pyeongchang, wasn't it? And then she retired for a year, went away, got herself healthy, got fit, came back.
Watch out, right to the 100th here.
Oh,
900's
back.
dropped 2 spots. Ashley Pittaway had some great run on the bottom part of the track, which must be encouraging for the British to see her do that.
Yeah,
you can tell with the body language there.
Yeah, not happy. British men had a podium finish this morning with Craig Thompson.
500 slower at the start. That's not like Katie. She's usually pretty consistent, but that 500s is what she lost by 9. That 500s cost her the chance to move into the top 10. You know, the rest of the way down, a little late here, a little bit of a skid. But if you give me which one I could eliminate, I'd get the 500s more at the start. I don't think that cost her 1500s like the start did. She's looking.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to have to count out how many World Championships Katie Uhlaender has competed in. That must be over 10 by now. Ashley Pittaway leads, 10 sleds to go in the final season race. It's really tough to stay healthy in this sport. We talked about it in the men's race, John. So many athletes have a niggle and a bit of an injury, and you know, we're constantly saying, how do the Latvians stay so healthy? Martins Dukurs didn't race in the men's race. It's the first World Cup he has missed in 13 seasons. Can you just imagine any sportsman? I mean, it's just astonishing, isn't it?
Start. It is the numbers, you know, but the sport, I tell you, more people are hurt off the track than they are on the track. You think the speed sport, but in the weight room, warming up, you know, when you're warming up and you slip, you're at the bottom of the track and you slip and you fall and you pull a muscle, a groin or hamstring, or you twist an ankle, and that's what amazes me about, you know, the people that just have the longevity in the sport. I mean, the Dukurs brothers, as you mentioned, both of them. Thomas has got more starts than Martins.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, if Thomas does all next year's World Cup races, by the time we go to Beijing, he will have started 151 races. In the World Cup alone, that's without World Championships, and before they came to the World Cup, he was doing Challenge Cup races, Europa Cup races, so that's just World Cups. Yeah, it's their longevity and their success and their ability to work for each other is remarkable. I think it's unprecedented in any sport that I can think of. So we'll be looking forward to catching back up with them next week when everybody heads off to Altenburg for the Worlds. final 10 sleds in the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup. Innsbruck in Austria, Anna Fernstedt, 10th after the first heat, looking to move up, only 500s away from 9th place, former teammate Sophia Griebel.
Silver medal last week for the Czech Republic on the track in Königssee. She's got the 18th out of 19th starts. But, you know, Martin on this track, she's a little exposed with the start problem because it's only 1,250 meters. She'll get great speed in the bottom. But Martin, last year she finished 9th in the race, and with a good run here, she'll probably finish 9th or 10th again.
Yeah, could well be.
See, she's already 2,200s back, but if there's anybody that can overcome that, she is a glider. 21. If she gets it to 13, be at the next clock, she's got a chance. Good speed, the best. 11. She's got a chance, Martin. It's going right to the 100th.
That's going to be close, isn't it? Anna Fernstedt. Oh!
54.69, 200 slower than her first run. Martin, like we talked about, the track isn't as glistening look as it was 10 sleds ago. Remember, we said the first couple sleds that came down.
8th and
Everybody's
9th
going
in
a little
December.
bit.
Not going to be a top 10 today, it looks like.
No. Second place last week, not that this week.
Yeah.
But last week, it was a little bit more about the driving down the track. That track in Königssee, you can get away with a negative start time. Not here.
And of course,
look at these
where
lines,
she
Martin.
learned
Is this
to
perfect?
drive as well. Yeah. She learned to drive in Königssee. She was part of the German team, went to school in Viesturs, so that's home ice for her and a fantastic place for her to get her first World Cup medal. Onwards and upwards for her. Ashley Pittaway leads. She is looking for another position potentially because Sophia Griebel was barely any distance ahead of her either. 1100ths of a second. Sophia wasn't entirely convincing in the first run.
So Ashley Pittaway at the bottom, her personal best ever was an 8th earlier this year, Martin. She could tie that if Sophia Griebel can't beat her at the bottom.
Yep.
Start decent, 43. That's 1000ths better than Pittaway. So with the experience that Griebel's got, this should be her. I mean, 2500ths lead. We've already said that in the men's race. There's no way they can throw that away. We saw that go away in the men's race. We saw
Just
that
watch.
go away.
Ooh. Look at the speed.
6th best speed, too. 18. Still bleeding. And this is where Pittaway was flying.
Oh,
Griebel,
and so
very
is Griebel.
experienced. Yeah. Yeah, Griebel's
She
pulling
stopped
away
the
here
rot.
now. She's got too much experience. Knows the track. She shouldn't be back here in 8th place, Martin. She should be up top 5. 54.50, 1200ths better. That is what you got to do. You got to be better in your second run.
Well, you do if you're
It's
trying
not like
to earn
being better
yourself
on
a
your
place in the world championships, and that's I think what this is all about. These two races.
That might be it. She might have to had some kind of a qualification of a top 10.
Yeah.
She's happy with that. But Martin, she's got 40-something World Cup starts. She's never won a medal. I think you said a couple 4ths is her best finish. Little skid there between 9 and 10. Look at the form. Very quiet.
Now her only medal at the senior level, bronze in Whistler in the World Championships in 2019. So she's not had a World Cup medal, but she's had a World Championship medal and team gold in Whistler. So Whistler was a real high point for her. So maybe she's a driver and not a glider. Maybe she's a lover and not a fighter. Here is her teammate, Tina Hermann, 3-time world champion, the defending world champion. What can she do here?
Well, 5:51, which right away is the same type of start she had in the first run. Martin, I think this is a very angry slider. She came in here, you know, as a multiple world champion, including winning on this track. And You know, she didn't do very well. For her to be back in this position is surprising. She always does well on this track.
She's had one win and
700
one bronze in 8 previous starts. This is not enough ice for her. She's a good glider, but she's not a good enough glider on this track. Quick
But she
start
won the
will
World
always
Championship on this track, Martin. Look at
I
this.
know,
Look at this
I
now.
know.
She's pulling away. Now this
go.
is a statement. She won't be in the same bad mood she was in the first run. 54.13, 43 hundredths better. That's a light years better than her first run. She'll be a little bit more chirpy here than she was.
Was that just setup? Did they just not get the setup right in the first heat?
Well,
she's been kind of angry all year.
Not when she wins, Martin. And she's, how many times has she won this year? She's, you know, she's won once. But she's got that attitude, you know, she's got that second place is the first loser attitude, which that's how competitive she is. And there's nothing wrong with that in my book.
Ganz liebe Grüße an meine Patenkinder, Paul, Johann und Maxi. Vermisse euch.
I don't think she would have talked like that in the first run.
Do think she feels the world is against her at the moment, but that's a great statement. And that is a real warning shot across the bows for the World Championships. Well, what about our Olympic bronze medalist from Pyeongchang, Laura Dees, 52nd World Cup start. Best result here, a 5th place finish. She's 7th after the first of our 2 heats. She's going to have to pull out something very special to beat Herman. Yeah.
5:33 in the first run, 5:30 there. So that's 10 hundredths at the bottom and the best velocity, which means she negotiated those first 2 turns well. She's got 41 hundredths in the bank. Martin, I'm going to sit back here. 41 hundredths, you cannot lose 41 hundredths.
You said it, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Here we go.
But
she's clean out of the Kreisel.
What Tina Herman did just... Watch out. If this gets down to like 20, watch out.
Only 6 best speed. Herman was quickest.
Not going to do it. Tina Herman.
Tina Herman. She's going to lead with 6 to go.
Okay. But still a good run for Laura Dees. It wasn't Laura Dees. She went 600ths better, but Tina Herman went like 3,500ths better. It was a good run. You know, I think that's her personal best this year, isn't it? She's going to finish in 8th.
Top 6 finishes, 6th and 5th in Sigulda, but she's not had a top 10 finish in 2021. This will be her first in the top 10.
Look at the
speed differential.
I mean,
I know, 2K.
Yeah, look at the difference. 2 kilometers, which that's what Tina Herman is, you know, and Anna Firstad. They're speed merchants. They don't get the great starts. Perfect line there, though. She hit that curve 10 perfectly. This was not a bad run by Laura Dees. This was a good run.
6 to go in Innsbruck. First up, Yulia Kanakina of Russia. 3rd fastest starter, 6th at the bottom. And the medals, 2/10 away. Is that too much of an ask? She had a great looking first run, John, but the speed wasn't there in the final few corners.
No, she's the smallest, I would say the lightest female in the race. 5:26, great lightning start. 4,200s, probably get out to 47 or 48 here. Maybe 50. Martin, 53. Martin, 4,600s is what Laura Dees just had and couldn't hold it. Kanakina does not get great speeds on the bottom part of the track. If she can keep it, in the top 5 speeds, she'll have a chance. But you can see the green numbers are going in reverse here.
Yeah.
9th best speed. Look out.
Herman has another
I put my
victim.
money. Yeah, Herman's going to win this, but still a good run for Kanakina if she can drop just 1. Yeah, she just drops 1. That's a good result for Kanakina.
Yeah.
She's going to finish no worse than 7th. And if you look at her...
Her best Best result of the season has been
That's
a
her best result of the year.
Yeah.
Personal best for the former ballerina. And again, lightest person in the field, Martin.
That'll tie her best ever result here, which was 7th in 2019.
So the ballerina skills, you think she could just hop on that sled with the hips like some. She went with the one knee. Look at the toe come right out. So she wasn't very happy with that little exit of the grooves. Up here at the top of the track, they're showing it's that for a reason. Late here, not bad. That's not, look, you can see the sled bouncing. Again, she's the lightest athlete in the field, Martin.
This is not the ice we had in Innsbruck in December. This is really choppy because of the humid, wet, snowy weather they've had the last few days, few weeks. Tina Hermann leads with 5 to go. Big chance now for Brogan Crowley of Great Britain, the first starter in the first heat. Best race result here, 14th place previously. So
she was 9th last week in Königssee.
Yeah.
Martin, 9th last week in Königssee. She's got a great start. She was very impressive, but again, she had the first draw, the best ice to work with in the first run. She did well. This is an upcoming British athlete with a 5,600th lead, Martin. What do you think?
Well, this is exactly what she needs to build her confidence. Whether she beats Hermann or doesn't, 2 good runs going into the end of the season, that's exactly what you want. She has struggled for consistency. Today could be the day it comes to her. 4th best speed.
That's pretty good. Hanging in there. I think she's going to do it. I think she's going to beat Hermann. What a great. This is their best, personal best ever.
Yes. 800s, that'll do.
Now that is a big victory for this young British athlete, Brogan Crowley.
Yep.
Best
really
ever.
Really good for Brogan Crowley. Best ever World Cup result. Nearly halved her previous best from 9th previously to 5th, John. Look at the excitement.
This could be a rising star for Great Britain. She's got the start. Yep. Look at the nice technique onto the sled. She had the 4th best start in the first run. She's got the 2nd best start so far in this run. You know, she'll get beat up by Nicotina. But Martin, great start. This is the personal best. You walk away from the track with your personal best.
Yeah.
You walk away with a personal best, it's a good day.
Especially on half a season of activity. Former junior heptathlete, 3 different ankle surgeries over the last 2 years, and she is coming on strong. 4 to go. Now, Valentina Margaglio of Italy, 600s out of the tie for silver. She's a medal contender here, isn't she? No question. Can she deliver?
Great starter. Look at that, 5:23. I told you, the Italians, I mean, Martin, what's she, like 23 or 24? She came out of the bobsled program, and wow, has she made some strides. 1700s. It's not a lot.
Right. No, and she's got to, first of all, she's got to beat Brogan Crowley. Then she's got to find something on our silver medal tie.
2700s. This is a lot of steering there in that exit, though. Came around the bottom of that curve 9. That's why she only had the 9th best speed. Down to 20. Should be the leader, Martin. Is this a personal best for her?
Yeah. 4 World Cup races here. She leads with 3 to go. That's a good run.
Wow. I'm sure anybody in the Italian camp is clapping their hands here.
5th and 6th here in December. So she is definitely, well, first of all, strong
personal
hair
best.
game from Valentina. And yes, a personal best in Innsbruck. And her World Cup best, a 5th place finish. That was here in the first race in December. So she beats that.
Martin, I looked way back on my books. I don't ever see any Italian doing very well. What Italian to remember in women's skeleton? The Italians got 2 good athletes in the field here that could both start and they're both young.
Yep.
This is a very impressive performance.
And that might be enough for a medal. We had 2 new medalists in the men's race. Let's see. What about Kimberly Boss? Tied for silver with Janine Flock, the hometown queen. On this track in December, Kimberly Boss took 2 silver medals. Can she make it 3 out of 3? She's had a stunning season. Last year, John, she could barely start the races and didn't make the cut in half the ones she did start.
8th best start, so she's 20 hundredths down at the start. Red numbers. Watch the deficit here. 7th best velocity, which is, you know, good. 8th start, 7th velocity. How far is she going to be behind? 26 hundredths. She has been a queen of speed on the bottom of all the tracks. That's why she's medaled, Martin, 4 times so far this season. There's the best speed in the Exeter Kreisel. Now it's 1900s. She gets the best speed down here, Martin. She could be the leader at the bottom. This is for a medal. Second best
Christmas.
speed. Oh yeah, here she comes.
Oh,
she's got it.
She'll be
She's
green
got it.
at the line.
Going away.
By how much? 500. So
another medal for Kimberly Boss.
Yeah, Margalio may have to wait for another day, but Boss, last year so injured she could barely make the field. This year she can barely step off the podium. What a year.
Her
What a
5th medal of
difference
the
a year
season,
makes.
Martin.
Yeah.
Martin, our TV production truck is full of Italians and Dutch, so they've had a lot to celebrate the last 2 sleds down. Look at the eyes. Look at the, I mean, where she's come from in 1 year, Martin. Oh, there's, I don't want to say what I'm laughing at, but hey, where she's come from in 1 year. Better start, like you said, she could barely get out of bed last year in race.
Yeah.
Now she's one of the top in the world.
You can't keep her off the podium. 2 to go, and for the Crystal Globe, any finish here, I think, over Tina Herman, it doesn't matter. Tina Herman will not make it. Kimberly Boss should move up ahead of Jacqueline Lurling and Anna Fernstedt to 3rd overall, but Tina Herman, this will be a valedictory slide to take the Crystal Globe.
I think she's interested in doing what she did in the first run, Martin, which was light up a run. You know, doesn't have the best speed, but you know, she's World Cup. She's won this title before, and this is, you know, for a World Cup title. But is she driving a conservative line, or is she going for it, Martin? I kind of think she's going for it.
She always goes for it. She doesn't do second best. 400's up. Janine Flock will have the best speed at the bottom of this track.
This is for
a
World Cup season title.
But she's a fighter as well. She was bronze in Altenburg. She can really drive a track, but she can glide this place across the line for the silver medal at least. Kimberly Boss will take the bronze. Valentina Margalio in 3rd will have to wait for some mistake by the final sled.
Martin, she's 26 hundredths better than her first street, so she went for it. Number 1. Number 2, she lost the World Cup title last year by 18 points to Jacqueline Lurling. So she's been so consistent. Little mistake here, but you know, she's won the World Cup title in women's skeleton. We could see another Austrian win the women's bobsled title tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Martin, we saw the men's Austrian team win a World Cup medal this morning. Great days, couple days for Austria sliding.
Yeah, it is. The Austrians are really on fire this year. Janine Flock, our World Cup champion. 1 sled left in the season. Just the World Championships remain. So, Yulia Kanakina, I beg your pardon, Elena Nikitina, is the start record under threat? She was 600s away in the first heat. Are the conditions
maybe
any better? No,
19, 200 slower.
Yeah.
She got a 4/10 lead. That's gonna go out to almost 5/10, 60 here. And then she'll probably neutralize it the rest of the way down. 81/100. Martin, I won't say anything else. I won't say anything else, Martin, because she doesn't deserve to put the commentator jinx on her.
No. In fine form.
Good lines.
Her first ever World Cup win came here in 2012-13. For a couple of seasons, it looked like she would not win again, and then suddenly the tide turned and the flood of wins and medals came. And Elena Nikitina takes the final World Cup win of the season. Her third win. This morning, teammate Alexander Chechikov took his third gold medal of the season as well. And like Nikitina, his second in 2 races this year in Innsbruck, where starts count.
Obviously, winning doesn't get old for her.
Well, 53.93, exactly the same time on the ice as Janine Flock. A big smile on her mask as well as on her helmet and her face. She has a real enthusiasm for life. And when things don't go well, she's got exactly the right attitude. Move on, learn, get better.
She won it going away, but Martin, what I like about this leaderboard, as you'll see in the standings, 6 different nations in the top 6. That shows you how competitive it is in women's skelling. Great. She just did everything right. The person who had the best start time won the event, just like this morning.
Elena Nikitina makes it 2 wins for Russia here in Eagles, as she claims the women's skeleton win ahead of Janine Flock and Kimberly Boss. Italy with Valentina Margaglio 4th, Brogan Crowley a personal best, a career best in 5th. Tina Hermann rounds out the top 6. 6 different nations, as you said, in the top half dozen. So a couple of new rookies in the field. Jill Gander of Switzerland, Sarah Roderick for the USA, and Katie Uhlaender, her 90th World Cup start, shows no sign of getting any slower. In fact, she continues to improve on her return to the sport. And there's your race winner. Well, that should move her up ahead of Kim Marmans into maybe top 5 in the World Cup standings. But the Crystal Globe again goes to Janine Flock, the hometown queen. And there is the Crystal Globe.
There's her trophy.
Viesturs. He had his birthday yesterday, so I want to say happy birthday to him. And congratulations to Janine, the World Cup champion.
Martin, we could be doing this tomorrow with women's bobsled. Austrian World Cup champion, and the Austrians are good in 2- and 4-man bobsled too. I mean, it's the Austrians. I don't think Austrian sliding has ever looked this bright.
Yeah, it's been a long while, hasn't it? Across so many disciplines, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So Janine Flock, the World Cup champion, ahead of Tina Hermann. Kimberly Boss takes 3rd, Jacqueline Lerning 7 points ahead of Anna Fernstadt, 4th and 5th, and Elena Nikitina rounds out the top half dozen. Rookie Hannah Neiser, the junior world champion, in the top 10 on half a dozen races this season, 7 races this season. And who else? Liz Meyer. Well, again, she didn't do a complete season. She wasn't here today. She's already in Altenburg training up for the World Championships. And that's where the best in the world will be heading for the final 2 racing weekends of the season. That's the Skeleton World Cup done and dusted. Bobsleigh continues through the weekend. The next time we see these athletes on ice will be for the World Championships. And in this crazy season of limited travel, 39 different athletes have started at least 1 race this year. So congratulations to all of them and to the Federation for somehow making it all happen. Well, you can join John Morgan, me, Martin Haven, and the IBSF TV crew for Saturday and Sunday's action. Saturday, two-man bobsleigh and the Monobob World Series. Sunday, the four-man in action and women's bobsleigh to round out the 2020-21 BMW IBSF World Cup season here in gorgeous Innsbruck, Austria. We'll see you then. Stay safe. Bye for now.